Right.
Then you'll lead us in the pledge.
Yes, I think you asked me.
Okay?
If Bill doesn't,
I'll be here tomorrow, so will you just take this now and keep it somewhere?
I was gonna say, great. If Bill.
We're good.
Oh,
Yep.
Well, the most famous advice to me was, if someone offers you a breath mint, take it.
That's very wise.
probably true. It's not quite time.
What was it wrong? Hi, y'all.
One more minute.
Yeah, the
1
clock.
minute to go.
Okay.
David? You think that's it,
Do we have our instructions for me?
Yes. Your instructions are, but there are no.
So they can use the same camera?
To nominate Mark.
Okay.
Hey, John.
Okay. All right. Exactly. Didn't I say something a little better?
No, I nominate Mark to be queen for a day.
Good evening. President Livingston is unable to attend the meeting tonight, so I would like to call the meeting to order. The meeting of Monday, October 22nd, 2018, at 7:30. I'd like to first call the roll. Trustee Arnett. Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee Holder.
Here?
Trustee Kotinek.
Here.
Trustee Kukler.
Here.
Trustee McCarty.
Here?
With that, seeing that there is a quorum of the board, I'd like to ask if there's a motion to elect Trustee Mark Kukler as chairperson pro tem to preside over the meeting tonight.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Trustee Hill. With that, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Trustee Kukler, would you take the chairperson pro tem?
Absolutely.
Moving on up.
Clerk Burns, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What I get on myself.
Thank you, everyone. I'll start with the village president announcements, which were prepared by Andre and village president Livingston. The first one is Halloween walk. Everyone's invited to join local businesses for the Halloween walk around the downtown this Saturday, October 27th. The trick-or-treat parade will be held by local businesses starting at 10 at Cossett School and continuing until about noon. Many other special events are also planned this upcoming week, so please go on the LGBA website and also the village's website for more information. And I'll say, as a parent who had many trick-or-treaters, it's a great time for the kids. They get plenty of candy. Moving on to Halloween information, the suggested times for trick-or-treating on the 31st are from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And we're asking to make sure it's a safe and fun event by making pedestrian safety a priority. Motorists are urged to be especially alert for Halloween for children darting between parked cars when entering and exiting driveways. Before children start out on their trick-and-treat rounds, we're encouraging parents to make sure that an adult or responsible youth will be supervising all young children, that the children are instructed to travel only in familiar areas and along an established route, and always on sidewalks, not in the street except in the crosswalks. We're also encouraging the children that are going to be out past dark to use flashlights and reflective clothing and treat bags to help improve their visibility during evening hours. After Halloween, we're going to have the Pumpkin Smash 2018. Trustee McCarty's been instrumental in working with the LaGrange Environmental Quality Commission in conjunction with LaGrange Park Sustainability Commission to be holding a pumpkin composting event on Saturday, November 3rd from 9 to noon. The event will take place at the LaGrange Park Public Works located at 937 Barnesdale Road in LaGrange Park. And again, there's information on the village's webpage. Moving off of Halloween, onto the police auction, an event I'm usually a regular at. The LaGrange Police Department is holding its annual auction of lost, abandoned, unclaimed, and surplus property on Saturday, November 3rd at 9 o'clock in the rear of the LaGrange Police Department, located at 304 West Burlington. Items to be auctioned can be viewed on the 3rd from 8 in the morning until 9. All potential bidders must register prior to the start of the auction. It's pretty well enforced, so get there by 9 o'clock and register. All sales are final. Everything's as is. Items have no existing warranties, neither express nor implied. Items to be auctioned include bicycle, electronics, video games, jewelry, and luggage. To announce for holiday closing, the village will be closed Monday, November 12th in honor of Veterans Day. Regular office hours will resume on Tuesday, November 13th. As always, a complement of public safety personnel will be on call to respond to any and all emergencies. Thanks. Is there a manager's report?
Yes, one item. BNSF Railroad will be performing track work beginning Friday evening, October 26th through Sunday, October 28th. The Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad plans to replace 18,000 ties on the center track between Hinsdale and Aurora. Some train delays are expected, primarily in the evening hours. For more information, please visit the Metro website at www.metrorail.com. That's all I have.
Thank you, Andre. Clerk Burns, if you could read the items on the consent portion of the agenda, followed by the items under current business.
Certainly. Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they have already been fully considered by the board or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, Engineering Services Agreement, Brewster Avenue Water Main Improvements. Item B, Agreement, West Central Cable Agency, WCCA, Franchise Agreement, Comcast of Illinois / West Virginia, LLC. Item C, ordinance amending Chapter 91 of the Grange Code of Ordinances regarding alarm systems. Item D, ordinance, disposal of surplus property, Police Department. Item E, minutes of the Village of LaGrange Board of Trustees regular meeting Monday, October 8, 2018. Item F, consolidated voucher 181022. And under current business, there is one item. Item A, fiscal year 2017-2018 comprehensive annual financial reports.
Thank you, Clerk Burns. I'm going to ask if anybody in the audience has any comments on items on the agenda, but first I do want to recognize that Mark Paulus from Comcast is here. If you have any comments that you'd like him to hear, but otherwise, let me just move right on to, are there anybody in the audience have any comments that they would like to make regarding matters on the agenda? Seeing none, I would then ask for a motion on the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Thank you. Clerk Burns, if you could lead us in a roll call vote?
I have some questions
Oh,
first,
thanks.
if you don't mind.
Trustee Holder?
On Ryan, with regard to the engineering services agreement for the first one, first of all, nice job being creative with regard to finding money for it. Thank you. I'm sure you and Lou worked hard to come up with that, so thank you both. But procedurally here, you say we would make a recommendation at the end of the year to recognize this expenditure by making a budget amendment. Why at year end instead of once we know the costs? Because I don't think we're going to know the costs by year end, will we?
So our standard procedure for an item that's not currently budgeted is that we recognize that there are funds available. However, though, since it's not in the budget, at the end of the year, we need to recognize the expenditure as a budget amendment.
And it's done at the end of the calendar year or the fiscal year?
I'm looking at Lou, but I believe it's at the end of the fiscal year.
Oh, so next year sometime.
Yes, as part of the next budget cycle, that'll be approved. I think it's at the
Gotcha, that was my next
May?
part. Yeah, well, no, our workshop that we have in the winter. March. In March, yeah. That's, I thought where we would discuss it and do that sort of thing. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we'd be talking about it actually part of the January capital projects workshop, but then as part of the full budget at the March workshop.
Gotcha, thank you. And then with regard to item C, the ordinance with regard to the alarm systems, Chief, I see ads all the time with regard to these inexpensive alarm systems, which are every bit as good as Lord knows what, at least as they're advertised, self-install, and so the consequence is that usage of alarm systems has gone up dramatically with people installing them. Some monitored, some not monitored successfully. Does this, and this is probably a question for you also, Mark, does this new ordinance cover all those permutations of alarm systems that exist today?
For everything in this ordinance, so yes.
Okay. All righty.
I agree.
All right, those are the only questions I have. Thank you, Mark.
Seeing no other comments, if we could call the vote?
Sure. Trustee Kotinek.
Aye.
Trustee Kukler.
Aye.
Trustee McCarty.
Aye.
Trustee Holder.
Aye?
Trustee Gale.
He already called me as trustee. And the consent items pass unanimously. Moving on to current business. There is one item. It's the comprehensive annual financial reports that I would ask Trustee McCarty to introduce. And I would state, or also say that Dan Berg from Sikich Accounting is here to answer any questions that we may have.
Thank you, Mark. 2 times each month, we meet as village board to consider the many and varied items that come before us. There are zoning issues, plans for street and sewer repairs, new police or fire equipment requests, among dozens of others. Sometimes we are honored to recognize great service or outstanding public deed or a great accomplishment. Most pleasant are our opportunities to promote our village through events like the West End Festival, the Holiday Lights, or coming this weekend, the Halloween Walk. We, however, do not keep the water turned on, the sewers cleared, the snow plowed, the streets repaired. For that, we rely on the skilled leadership of Ryan Gillingham. Chiefs Bluter and Gay ensure that the police and fire departments provide for our personal safety. Charity Jones works to keep our storefronts full, our building and zoning codes enforced, and our property values up. Luke Ciparoni faithfully counts each bean and keeps the bills paid. And of course, ultimately, everything is managed by the diligent and detailed village manager, Andre Peterson. No, we trustees really don't do anything that actually keeps the village running. The number one job of our board is our fiduciary responsibility to ensure the tax dollars paid by our friends and neighbors are spent wisely and accounted for completely. Tonight, we are presented with our best tool in minding our fiscal duty. It is a comprehensive annual financial report of the Village of LaGrange for the fiscal year May 1, 2017 to April 30th, 2018. The report is prepared by the Finance Department and reviewed by our auditors, Sikich LLP. In the expressive language of the accounting world, Sikich has rendered an unmodified or clean opinion of our financial position as of April 30th, 2018. This is as good as it gets for accountants, and it reflects that our statements are prepared and presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles, also known as GAAP. Attached to the CAFR is the auditor's communication to the village board for the year ended April 30th, which includes a few additional documents. One is the required communication letter from the auditors regarding professional auditing standards, and it includes the limited audit scope related to the required supplementary information, RSI, section within the CAFR. That there is no new accounting policies were adopted, and that application of the existing policies has not changed. That all material accounting estimates were reasonable. Any misstatements were corrected, and none of the misstatements detected as a result of audit procedures were material, and that there were no difficulties or disagreements with management during the course of the audit. Another included document is the management letter. Auditing standards require communication to the village board regarding certain matters that are opportunities for strengthening internal controls and operational efficiencies. The fiscal year 2017-18 management letter reports that there were no findings of material weakness involving the village's internal controls. The management letter also notes 2 comments. One, that the village's ratio of water billed as compared to water pumped increased significantly from about 76% to just over 87% during the fiscal year, which is above the recommended threshold of 80%. Congratulations to our Public Works team on the determination to hunt down and fix those leaks. The second item is that the village board does not have a formal policy requiring users to change computer passwords on a regular basis. The auditors recommend that the village institute a policy which requires passwords to be changed on a periodic basis. As part of an ongoing system of improvements to the IT system, this policy will be instituted in the near future. The third included document was the comprehensive annual financial report. The unmodified opinion of Sikich reflects that the village's financial statements are prepared and presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. The briefest summary of our current fiscal position is on target. The general fund's reserve balance at fiscal year end is $8.9 million, or about 58% of our annual operating expenditures. For fiscal year 2017 and 18, our deficit was substantially lower than expected, due primarily to personnel vacancies and due to the timing of the branding study and voice over internet protocol phone project, both of which will primarily be completed in fiscal year 2018-19. In addition, the surplus reflects an increase in miscellaneous income from sizable reimbursements for damage to village property, public prosecutor services, worker compensation, training, and legal fees. With continued slow revenue growth projected, our 5-year budget remains fiscally conservative, with generally operating expenditures to ensure we stay well within the targeted fund balance range of 50 to 75% of annual operating expenditures. This report tonight is submitted for our information and consideration. No vote is required regarding it. It should also be noted that for 22 consecutive years, our certified annual financial report has been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment for the village, in particular our finance department. Thanks, Lou. Copies of the audit report have been placed on file at the Grange Public Library, in the village clerk's office, and in the finance department for public inspection. The comprehensive annual financial report is also available on our village website. Mr. Dan Byrne, a partner at Sickage LLP, is in attendance to present a brief overview of the audit and to report and to answer any questions the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee McCarty. Mr. Berg, did you have comments to make for us?
Echo his sentiments. Primarily, also like to report to the board that the audit went very well. We had only 2 audit adjustments, which is outstanding, so a very nice job preparing for us. We greatly appreciate it, Joe and Lou. We also want to emphasize that it is a comprehensive annual financial report, so it includes a transmittal letter, the management discussion and analysis, which is both prepared by staff. The MD&A compares last year to this year, so I would strongly recommend that interested users start with that. And then, of course, there's a statistical section that's more or less on a 10-year trend basis, so all good information. And lastly, again, to echo that there were no material weaknesses to report, no issues to report. So congratulations, both of you, on a very good audit. We're here exactly on time as expected. So last point, it is prepared, the comprehensive annual financial report is prepared by staff. That's pretty unusual in our practice. Less than 10% of our clients prepare their own comprehensive annual financial report, and that the village realizes the cost savings in the audit fees as a result. So nice job on that.
Thank you. Any trustee questions, comments? Thank you, and thanks to Lou and Joe.
Just
Sure.
one quick question. Mr. Berg, how long has Sickage been the auditor of the village?
Around 15 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, and thanks again to Lou and Joe for all your efforts. It's appreciated. At this time, I would accept the comprehensive annual financial report. Moving on, does anyone in the audience have any comments on those items that are not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, are there any trustee comments? Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Trustee Kugler. I don't know who knew this, or maybe some of you don't know. There was a fire this past week at the Cossett Elementary School, and everybody got out safe. Everything went fine. In fact, so well, the fire was put out before I think the fire department even got there. All the kids got out, all 500 plus, and then within a couple of hours, they were all back in the school. So I wanted to take this opportunity to compliment everybody involved in that process, not just the school, the teachers, the administrators, but our own staff for their excellent work. Chief Gay, Chief Bluter, Andre as well. It's no small feat to, empty out a school of 500 plus kids, get them all safely out of the school and then back into the school. So again, I want to compliment everybody for their work on that. And as a parent of 2 kids there, I can say I was never even worried for a second during any of that, because I thought, oh, this will be just fine. And it was actually just fine. And then to follow up, we spent some time tonight talking about the finances of the village. This is a perfect example of the services that all this financial work goes towards. And so again, I want to commend everybody in the village for excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Trustee Holder.
2 things. One, I wanted to echo what Lou just said with regard to, and Dave said also with regard to the financial reports. And, these are on file, and these then go towards our 5-year plan, which is what helps keep us in austerity mode as well as functioning and winning the awards that we do. So thank you for everybody that pulls with regard to that on the village staff. It takes an army, and you guys do it almost effortlessly. So thank you. The other thing I want to do is compliment the fountain. The fountain looks great, especially at night. It's really, really pretty. I don't know how you're going to keep people out of that thing, but I'm sure Chief Bluter and tasers might be involved. I'm not sure, but it's really pretty, and thank you for all the hard work that went into that.
Thank you, Trustee Holder. Seeing no further comments, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
And seconded.
Can I have a voice vote?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Meeting's concluded.
Nice job.